The market is volatile, the stocks keep going down. Then boom, we hit new highs. Everything is different now, but you don't gotta chase. Don't panic, don't stress. Time to realign, plan it out, invest. It's the First Fruits Podcast. We elevating with the First Fruits Podcast. No time for waiting, time to grow, give back, reinvest like that. Everything you need to know, the First Fruits Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of the First Fruits Stock Club. Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Man, I had to move some things around. But anyway, man, I'm happy to be here for another episode of the First Fruit Stock Club. My name is Donald Green. I'm the founder of the First Fruit Stock Club. Man, I come here every week to talk about stocks, my favorite subject. Man, just to kind of get into it, it's been brutal. A brutal month. Man, this has definitely been a brutal month. I cannot lie. I've gotten beat up this month. The month started out pretty good for me, but sometimes we make bad decisions and being greedy. And I was greedy. I got caught in the cookie jar this month. I did. I should have took my gains, put them on the side, and left them there. But that's okay. We live and we learn. Each trade is a new experience, you get some new information, man, a new learning experience. And hopefully, all these trades and this session this month will help us go to the next level in our trading. So this week, what I like to do is the focus of the investment club is really to help. The goal is to get people to $10,000 a month, $10,000 a month, right? That's our goal. I'm going to tell you about my month. But first, before I go into that, please like, subscribe, and share the information on the show. Like, subscribe, and share. Just trying to grow my show, grow my numbers. We are growing, but we need more people to get my message out there. Secondly, disclaimer, the information provided in the First Fruit Stock Club podcast is for education and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial, investment, tax, or legal advice. The views expressed by the host and the guests are their own and do not reflect the opinion of any financial institution or regulatory authority. Investing in stocks and other securities carries risk, including the potential loss of principal. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Always conduct your own research and consult with a licensed financial professional before making any investment decisions. The First Fruit Stock Club and its affiliates do not guarantee any specific outcomes or returns. By listening to this podcast, you acknowledge that you are responsible for your own investment decisions. So yeah, man, this month, let me just, I'm sorry. Yeah. Man, I'm so rattled that I didn't even, try to come on here with some enthusiasm, but sometimes the market will beat you up. And this is one of those months that I've been beat up. I'm not going to lie. I started out, definitely hitting a goal. I got into a Facebook trade before they reported earnings, and that trade, netted me close to $5,000. But guess what I decided to do? I decided to go back in and buy Micron, right? And Micron and some of the semi stocks. And guess what happened to that money? It disappeared. And not only disappeared, the goal is, like I said, the club is our goal is to earn $10,000. We do it in 3 ways, right? Right. This is what, $3,000 to $4,000 in dividends, 5,000 in trading, and $2,000 in long-term gains. Like that's the goal of the club, right? And man, I hit that. Like I said, I had the trade. The dividends come in regardless. After a while, like I said, you have the trades. You reinvest them back into dividends. The dividends produce more dividends, and you take the dividends and put them back. Put them in your trading, right? Or you can just keep the cash, or you can spend some of the cash. However you like to do it. But I think we all should have an income goal, and income goal that I have for the club, like 3,000. If we get to $3,000 in passive income, right? $5,000 in trading, and then for our long-term portfolio, about $2,000, gains in a month. And this month I got beat up. I'm not even gonna lie. I went back. Like I said, I had the Facebook trade. Then I decided to go back into the market and lost half of my money on Micron and half my money on the SMH, or I'm sorry, the semi uh, semi stocks. So anyway, not a good, and then DRAM, the memory. So I was in all three of those, and basically I had to close them out early this week. Glad I did. I'm sorry, early this week or late last week. I had Friday. I closed them out last Friday because it just, the market just showed no um, instance of turning around, of making a change. It's just basically negative. The news cycle is negative. The charts are negative, just everything. And I just didn't see, I don't, and currently I do not see a opening right now, which is disappointing. Um, July is usually a good month, but sometimes the market will surprise you. So you always have to be on your toes. And it's never a thing of like, the market, why just set it and don't think about it and forget. No, you always have to be on your toes. And what I decided to do is, like I said, put my hands in the cookie jar, and I got caught. I had like I said, the Facebook, the Meta trade, but then I went back and all that money I lost, and some of my dividend money I lost. So not a good month. Didn't hit the $10,000 goal, but the good thing about there is always the next month, especially when you have dividends coming in. So next month we'll have a new set of dividends. I'm definitely in cash. Put in a lot of the trades I have in cash, and I'm just sitting and waiting right now. And the escalation and de-escalation of the war, this is crazy. Is 1 week in there and talks again. Then the next few minutes, you know, somebody's striking somebody with new missiles. It's definitely not a good market in regards to, we're trying to get the risk going. So look, this is what I consider the market map. This is what I share with my club, is that we are always trying to go from risk off, which we're in right now, where everybody's just selling everything, to risk on, right? That is always the goal. Go to risk off and risk on, because when you're in risk on, everything seems to be working, right? But when it's risk off, everything seems to be, it doesn't matter what it is, that, then there are some sectors that are doing well, but technology, where I spend a lot of my trading, is not doing well right now, right? But today the Dow was down, 1,100 points, NASDAQ, couple of hundred points. I mean, it was just a bad, bloody, bad day for everything. But that's okay, right? Because, well, it's not okay, but it has to be okay, because there's more things to do, and there's always, man, opportunity in the market. And right now, like I said, as we go from risk off to risk on, there's opportunity in stocks. Stocks are, that have been trading that have run up 500, 600, 700% are now at 50% or 25% or even have gone negative, right? Some of the things I've bought that I was up hundreds and hundreds of percent are now back at baseline where I started building a position. And I decided, that I was going to just let it run. Um, was that a good decision? Hindsight is always what 50-50, as they say. Um, but in regards to making a decision, you make the right decision, make the wrong decision. But all in all, this month has not panned out the way I want, and you just got to you got to face things up. So look, how do we generate money in the market? Dividends. Funds will pay 1 to 5% of the investment amount you invest per month. Dividends, we have options. Goal was to earn $5,000 in options trade. Like I said, the meta trade was really good. That worked out for me, but I put the money back in, and the market said, "Give me that," and it took that money away. Looking for contracts priced between $500 and $1,000. If I get contracts priced $500,000, that is a reasonable contract. And what we can do is once we find something and it's working, then we can build on those contracts and stack it up. And that's where you can turn 5,500 to 1,000 or 1,000 to 2,000 or 2,000 to 4 or 4 to 8. Options trade with leverage. So there's definitely opportunity for nice gains in the market. But real important though, I want to talk about the risk on and risk off. The risk on and risk off is really two different personalities that we're looking in a market. Risk on is usually a positive. I'm positive in outlook. I'm positive in my trading. I believe that, the market should run sometimes, and sometimes it's going to outstretch values. But then we have the other side of it, the risk off, where there are people who say, look, that stock, the price currently what it is does not make sense. And because it doesn't make sense, I'm going to short the market. I'm going to go against all you positive guys. So there's a place for both personalities in the market, right? Because the market is about behavior. I mean, yes, it's about fundamentals and charts and all that stuff, but the market is simply about behavior. Okay? The market is people optimistic, want to trade, want to get to the goal of earning money in the market, or people who say, hey, look, you guys trade, you made money, and now now it's time to get out of the market. So look, 3 market behaviors, right? So we risk off. The second one is market communication, right? There's been a lot of communication in the market. Like I said, it's risk on, risk off, de-escalation, escalation, oil prices up and down, right? Which causes the increasing cost of gas prices, which is negative for the market. The sell off on semi stocks. People are deciding to take their gains. I probably should have made that decision, but I didn't. And I'm still in semis and also in memory. I'm still in semis and memory. I don't think. Well, I think this is a short term correction. I think for the long term, I think that we'll still be fine for semi stocks. And so will continue to buy and build, even though right now I'm just probably will be hoarding cash into the accounts. When I'm telling the club, we're going to hoard cash. But man, coming out of this, I believe that there are some great opportunities. Some of the stocks that you saw run up and you felt like, man, I missed that. Well, here's your opportunity, but you have to kind of be selective because we're now at a going into we're in the third quarter and going into the fourth quarter. And usually I've been preparing everybody in the club for September. I was like, September is usually one of the worst months in the market. But now it's like, all right, are we going to trade down all the way to September through August into September? Is the market going to come back? Should we buy, position ourselves to come back? Or should we, or should we just stay on the sideline and kind of wait it out for the market to clear out for September? I think that there will be some opportunities this month. Some of the opportunities are in investing in, when I tell everyone, in the long-term portfolio. I like telling everybody invest in long-term portfolio. And for you guys out there who not in the club, maybe looking at some sound ETFs such as a VOO or a QQQ. In regards to ETFs, solid funds out there that right now are trading down. I think they were above 700, now it's sub 700. So there's some opportunities there. And adding, if you don't like the ups and downs, but if you're a little bit more aggressive and you want to catch the upside of the next stage of this market, join the First Fruit Stock Club, right? There's a position there in the club, and we are going to position ourselves to take advantage of the next upswing in the market, which is going to come, right? You can only sell for so much and so long. And so that's why having, right now I'm recommending having cash and picking out a list. And this thing, you get this time, you get time to pick out a list. Before, you didn't even get a chance to pick out a list and see what stocks you want, because what happened is the dip trade was on. Well, the dip trade is not on right now. Now that may change tomorrow, but as of this month, there was no dip trade going on, and we may just be in a different time in the market. But there's always opportunities, but the opportunity may be just to sit and wait this out. And what we do in the club when we sit and wait out is we collect dividends. So I'm hoping that we'll see if the market change, the communication in the market change, which has been totally negative. In regards to not a lot of positive news coming out. But when that news cycle changes, I want us to be in position. All right, so that's my show for tonight. Is the AI trade over? And I do not believe that it's over. I believe that we still have more opportunities there for us to move forward, more opportunities, more trades. And some of the stocks that you felt like you missed, you're getting an opportunity to get into some of those stocks. And the pricing is better. And I think that if you'll look back right now at the end of the year, and you'll be happy that you stayed invested, stayed into the market. So until next time, I am Donald Green, the founder of the First Fruit Stock Club. And until next week, God willing, be fruitful financially. Bye-bye.
The market is volatile, the stocks keep going down, then boom, we hit new highs. Everything is different now, but you don't gotta chase. Don't panic, don't stress. Time to realign, plan it out, invest. It's the First Fruits Podcast. We elevating with the First Fruits Podcast. No time for waiting, time to grow, give back, reinvest like that. Everything you need to know, the First Fruits Podcast. Let's go.